The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Friday, 8th of May.
The FujiCast.
Hello, welcome to the FujiCast. Once weekly, now daily, during various lockdowns and restrictions of movement. A show about photography, a show about community, and yes, a show that reflects our love of Fujifilm kit. Though you can shoot anything you like, and your pictures can be about anything you like as well. Every show we try to answer your photographic questions that you kindly send in to click@fujicast.co.uk. Your stories, your questions, your problems sometimes too, and we very much need them to keep the good ship FujiCast afloat. Hi Kev, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
It's been a busy couple of days for you. You've been on things like webinars, and I mean, it's not quite like old days when you say, "Oh yeah, I just flew to Japan yesterday. I've got back from Brazil, and now I'm going to France tomorrow." It's not quite like those days, but there's little green shoots of things happening, aren't there?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it's a webinar for the Irish Professional Photographers Association. Mm-hmm. It's always very weird doing those things because you're kind of staring at yourself into a screen and you've no idea who's listening, watching, whatever. I
don't know. I've never been invited on one. I'm not famous like you is.
It gave me plenty of time to analyse my features and figure out where all my spots and little bits of hair I've missed shaving and
how is
bits
that?
I need to cover in on my head.
Are you growing the hair back, or are you going to retain that now as a feature of the way Mullins looks?
My head's bizarre. It grows honestly like wildfire on the sides. At the top where I want it to grow, it doesn't grow so much.
I'm afraid that's just the way. I've been listening on my morning. Sam rudely calls them strolls. When I go for my exercise, my run stroke walk, and progressively more running, then she when I get back, she always says, "How'd your stroll go?" Like she's the only runner in the house. But during the strolls, I've been listening to quite a lot of...
During the strolls,
I've been listening to quite a lot of TEDx stuff. Because that's the great... it's on YouTube. And I know there are podcasts with TEDx, but the YouTube... I don't know. The way it sort of dishes up stuff out of YouTube, I quite like. And I've been listening to a lot of stuff about my favourite Wim Hof. About the cold therapy treatment and the breathing technique. Turns out, by the way, it's a proven thing that if you take cold showers, and I mean cold, you have to get in cold. It's not like you start off warm and go cold. If you get in cold, it's really good for the scalp at sort of massaging those follicles or whatever to retain hair growth. And
really?
I mean, obviously it's 30 years too late for me, but
you need to spend every day in the shower all day long.
I thought I
can talk.
I thought I might mention it to you since you're still at a stage where you can retain it.
Well, Gemma once, when we were in Spain one year, and my birthday always happens when we're in Spain, she like I said yesterday, I think I alluded to it, we don't really buy each other birthday presents much, and but this year she bought me hair restorer from from the equivalent of Asda in Oaxaca or something like that.
Oh my word!
It's called Mercadona. Any Spanish people listening will know the song Mercadona. That's all you hear in the shop. It drives you absolutely insane.
And does it work?
Well, I don't know if it worked or not, but now she's taken to buying me hair shampoo that's got caffeine in it, and apparently that's proven. Caffeine is proven to restore hair growth. Caffeine and cold water, that's the way forward.
Do you know what this sounds? It sounds like Gemma is... Oh, look, yeah, she's thinking, hang on a minute. Mullins is going bald. Time for a new model. Mind you, Jeff Goldblum's bald as well, isn't he?
Is he?
Isn't he challenged? Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's got a good full head of hair, isn't he?
He just turns into a fly. That makes me creepy.
This could be a Goldblum moment. Anyway... So before we start, I'd like to mention, of course, as you did yesterday, you mentioned the Fuji Fund, didn't you? So tell us what the Fuji Fund is all about again. And funnily enough, Ian, who's organised it, has sent me, he's done some work himself on this. He was asked. He's sent me some of his faves, of which you're not in at the moment, by the way, but I just thought...
Oh, favourite pictures,
yeah,
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in it.
So, no, that's slightly unfair because I asked him to send me 3 and not include Kev in that. So I should at least come clean on that.
Well, the Fuji Fund, we did speak about it yesterday, and whilst we will feature it, it's not a we're not commercially involved. It's not a commercial enterprise or anything, but we will mention it on and off until the sale happens. Is organised by Ian, as we mentioned, Ian Palmer, and it's entirely for charity. He's handpicked 16 of the best photographers on the planet.
15 and you.
Yeah, 15 and me. Who all happen to be Fujifilm ex-photographers, apart from 2 who are actually officially now, wait for it, ex-photographers.
Really? Oh, there's a new phrase.
Well, ex-photographer makes it sound like you're back in the fold, doesn't it? I'm an ex-photographer, which means I'm now. Oh God,
I can't do it. Double negatives.
Anyway, so he's doing a charity thing that's going to help hungry children in the UK, and also the COVID worldwide global appeal. Each print will be framed professionally by the good people up at Digital Lab, and the website is live now, fujifund.org. And the sales will commence on the 20th of May. All profits, all proceeds, everything, every penny goes to those charities.
I did ask Ian Palmer then to suggest that some of the photographers that he particularly is pleased to have along. Rinzi Ruiz was one. Did you mention Rinzi yesterday?
Yeah, Rinzi's great. I love Rinzi, met him a few times.
Long-time fan of Rinzi, he says, and he's black and white photography. Often referred to him as a Jedi Knight of black and white. His use of light and shadow is inspired. His street photography carries a celestial quality to them, much like Trent Park. And this particular donated shot is one of my all-time faves, so very pleased that he donated it. So well, there'll be a link on the FujiCast.co.uk site. Ready for some questions?
Yeah, let's go.
Right, Ali Stewart, friend of the show. Hi, Kevin Neil. Wow, 100 plus shows now. Who would have thought this would happen so quickly? Loved every single one of them. What's your thoughts, by the way, on the 23mm f2? I have the 23 f1.4, but I don't tend to use it too much and always reach for my X100F with its fixed 23.
I think we mentioned this before. The 23 f2 is, for all intents and purposes, a better lens. It's cheaper, it's weather sealed, it's lighter. It's faster to focus than the 23 1.4. However, what you do lose out is that one stop of light, and the difference between 1.4 and f2 is a whole stop, regardless of the numbers. And so if you do require low light shooting, you will be better off with the 1.4. If you don't require low light shooting, you won't be better off with the 1.4. And then to throw into the mix, the X100 is an f2 lens. So typically I would say the lens on the X100 is fairly accurate and fairly similar, probably I'm talking about the X100V now, to the f2 23mm f2 lens that you can get. The 1.4 is always going to be faster though, and it's still my preference, the 1.4 lens.
So one of your favourite lenses, isn't it? 35mm focal length in trad 35mm terms, which I know you dislike me doing, but for all those that listen to the FujiCast that aren't Fuji users, of which we talk about a lot, it does help them.
Yes. Well, however, what's the norm? I remember yesterday on the webinar, Finn was asking me what my first set of lenses were, and I had to remember them in full front, and it would really confuse me. I was like 35 and 85, and I had to work backwards. But yeah, so
she does, by the way, point out, does Ali, she must get out the habit of using the X100F at weddings, because there's only one slot, and you know what Mullins thinks about that for professional work.
Well, true, but however, I did use the X Pro 1 and X100F, or X100S as it was then, for several years, only one slot. I think my original Canon 1D only had one slot. The thing about two slots is it's really weird. It's a little bit like, what do you call it, oh my God. I promised myself before we come on air, I'd say, right, I'm not going to lose my track, I'm not going to and ah, I'm not going to trip over my words.
I often take a lot of these ers and ums out and you worry about it, but you don't. I'm not sure you even notice they come out.
And the word I'm looking for is seatbelts.
Seatbelts?
Seatbelts in cars. Dual card slots are a little bit like seatbelts in cars.
Ah, yes, yeah.
Nobody used them until they came along, and actually up until relatively recently, cameras didn't have dual card slots, and of course, film never had any kind of redundancy. So, of course, I would always say now, yes, use it, and I think even the insurance purposes actually insist on it. But I still use my X100F at weddings. I still use my X70 at weddings. You've just got I think you've got more chance of losing a card or a card corrupting if it's a bad card i.e. cheap, or you bought it from a dodgy location.
And equally, if you start deleting on the on the go, as it were, because as we learned recently from a few people, including Zach Arias, do not delete when you're working. Only format a card. Never delete shots off it as you're going along. Obviously, don't format as you go along as well. That'd be ridiculous. But there we go. Paige Harris. Hi, Kev. Hi, Neil. So, rumours of things beginning to relax as I write this mail. I had a lot of anxiety going into all this, and now I seemingly have as much coming out. I can't seem to win. I live near Boston, the one in Lincolnshire, not America. I'm a portrait photographer, specialising mainly in maternity and babies. So what that means in terms of when I can actually get back to work, who knows? But I do know this. I feel uneasy. It's not even about the virus itself. It's more about how people may be and how we'll treat each other, whether we'll be afraid of our own shadows. Do you both have feelings about your own subjects of street and weddings? When do you both think it'll feel right to go back? Obviously, it depends upon what we're told, but assuming that we're told we can go back in some form over the next couple of months, what are your anxieties likely to be?
I don't think I'll have any. I have to say I'm just going to listen to the government and just assume that they've done their research. If our government come up with terms that are vastly different to the rest of the world, then of course I'll question it.
I don't think they will. I can't see that happening. No.
I mean, it would help if all the people that were involved in organising this stuff didn't break the blanking rules themselves and then have to quit.
Yeah, we've had a few south and north of the border and west, I believe, as well.
There's been quite a few of them, I have to say.
Yeah.
Don't go out. Don't do this. Yeah. Don't do that. You'll save lives. You'll save lives. And then what they do? They go on holiday to their holiday home, or they have their girlfriend round. I'm like, you know what? Get another job.
Well, in some cases they've had to, but I know what you mean. I don't think I'm going to feel particularly anxious about being at a wedding. God, I want to be at one. Whether that means I'll really get amongst it on the dance floor, I have thought about that, because that's when it gets hot and sweaty and people are shouting and screaming. And
honestly, you know what? And I know this is quite a negative thing. I think it's going to be quite a long time before they're going to be dancing at weddings. I mean, that's my personal opinion. Baby shoots and all that kind of stuff is very different, and you can make beautiful images, using a longer lens and what have you. And you can shoot, you can shoot weddings, of course, using a long lens if you have to. We'll have to do that, but I honestly don't think you're going to see 120 sweaty people on the dance floor at Headsail House in the very near future.
It's bad enough being a wedding photographer. Imagine being a wedding DJ then. Oh my word, you're waiting till next year.
Well, he can sit in his car and do it.
Nobody's going to be dancing to it.
Well, that's true.
Pointless putting the speakers up if nobody's going to be dancing to it.
That's true. Although I know some wedding DJs where that happens anyway.
Those ones that please stop doing it. I mean, honestly, I've said it. Don't play Motown right at the start of your set. No,
please, no,
stop it.
No.
Amkev ABBA. If you're a wedding DJ and you come in with ABBA in your box, so to speak, then it should be number one, you should be forcibly removed from the venue, and maybe you have to serve some sort of penance or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you might be right. There's a great band that I've heard at weddings many times, and they're called the Indie Killers. I think they're from Cardiff, actually.
Right.
And they're insane. They are they get everybody up and running straight away. It's all covers.
Yeah.
And they're very, very good at what they do. They've got the guitarist jumps into the crowd and all that kind of stuff.
Brilliant.
Very, very cool.
I've seen a few bands do that kind of thing. Right, hi guys. Andreas, is it Andreas Jorns? AJORNS. Andreas Jorns shoots wonderful portraits. This is a mail from Matthias Fox. He's talking about Andreas Jorns. Jorns shoots wonderful portraits, mostly in black and white, so be a man after your own heart there, Kev. As a self-contained photographer, he's struggling like many others at the moment since he's not able to provide workshops. For that reason, he offers his latest photo book, Diversity, with a 50% rebate using code mentioned in this Instagram. I've sent you the Instagram so we could possibly put that up into the into the ether. I think you may have included it once before, didn't you?
I'm not sure I included the code, but I remember we did. I have mentioned him before for sure. I've got him in my Chrome bookmarks bar, and he's in the folder entitled "Very Good Gits."
Oh dear! Who else is in there? No, don't answer.
I got Vincent Baldersberg is in there.
You
and
really
Louis
have
is in there.
Louis is in there. Louis, yeah.
Vincent Baldersberg, who's a Kage collective buddy of mine. All black and white portraits, interestingly, or mostly.
Where's your favourite Canadian photographer in all that? Is he in there?
Yeah, but he's not really the portrait type. He's not one of these, like in this little list are the people who are doing, what I call character portraits.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. And I'm looking at Andreas Jorn's stuff now. Yeah, amazing. Reminds me a lot of Vincent Baldensberger, I think. Not Burr. Vincent-Baldensberger.com. Very similar, beautiful. Both look very beautiful black and white portraits. And like I said, same as Louis Garvan. These type of character pictures, that just jump out of you from the page. Just amazing from the screen in most cases.
Well, talking of character portraits, another reference was made within a mail from Matthias. Matthias, you've been amazing. You've sent so much information. Thank you for that. Netflix offers currently a bunch of brilliant documentaries on YouTube for free. One of them is about the photographer Platon, which Kevin mentioned in one of your latest podcasts. I'm sorry, I don't think Kev did. I'm the Platon fan. He can have Lewis. I'm claiming Platon. He's my friend, not yours, Kev. I don't know. Did you mention Platon? You must have done.
I remember we did discuss it, but I can't remember who brought it up.
Anyway, I've got a link, which again we'll have in the show notes, and I think this is definitely a film that you have linked to. It is currently in the film reference on FujiCast.co.uk, isn't it?
It is. It's already on the website and in the free film library that obviously you're all looking at all the time. But yes, we will do a proper link to it again in the show notes for today's episode as well.
Platon is just an incredible photographer. He works very, very close to his subjects, doesn't he? With short focal length lenses. Am I right in thinking he's using? I think he's a Canon shooter. I'm not sure. That he uses a 24mm, doesn't he? On some of these, we're incredibly close. But he gets these. They're quite distorted at the edges, obviously. But he gets these wonderful, powerful portraits of these incredible people like Obama and people like that.
It's a good film actually because it's the entire film. It's not just a kind of premiere or anything like that. Promo. It's the whole thing, and it's on YouTube. But we've facilitated it for you on our website.
I've seen a few films about Platon, and I watched this, and there are two things in particular that I got from this film. One is a quote. I love this quote. To get to that point where someone is open, you've got to earn it. And also,
yeah, that's true.
And also, I noticed in this film and others that I've seen about him, he has this one posing stool. It's a white sort of beaten up old posing stool. It's kind of a rite of passage to some professionals. Actually, it rarely changes. Well, you did have a studio. Have you still got your posing stool from that studio?
No, I do have a stool that I got for intentional purposes for doing stuff like that, but it's never been used.
Well, I mean, I've still got mine. I made mine a long time ago. And it's been used at weddings. I tried to do some portraits in the evenings. We stored in the loft. I used it at my old studio. I dropped it out of a truck. Actually, the same truck reversed into it. It propped up a table that we had outside behind the shed for a while. So it's been dropped on by pigeons. It was right regally kicked when I got a bit agitated. Rebuilt on one side due to it rotting when I left it out in the yard. It's been white, it's been grey, I think it's been brown, it's definitely black because it's black at the moment. It's scuffed. Muddy after a shoot in a field, but it's my posing stool. And like an old Leica, it has some sort of inherent value to me, that. Maybe it was just emotion. And I love it because Platon, not by any way, shape or form comparing myself or indeed my stool, which has been sat on by many, many famous people, of course, in his case, to Platon. But it'd be quite interesting if people could send us pictures of their posing stools.
You reckon?
Yeah. I'd like to see the state of people's posing stools. It's that one piece of kit that nobody ever talks about. They talk about their lens. We've got a question about a lens in a minute. They talk about their lens, their camera bodies, camera bags, but nobody ever talks about that essential thing that your most interesting subjects are sat on. Or am I going a bit mad?
I think you're going totally mad.
Do you think so?
If anybody wants to send in pictures of their posing stools, please send them directly to Neil and do not CC me.
Send them to me. I've not gone mad. Oh dear. I do want to mention something that I think that will really float your boat. Have you ever heard of Cafe Royal books?
Yeah, I have. I've got a couple of them. They're little kind of zine type things, aren't they?
Yeah, I did smile slightly when the word zine was mentioned, because you have the same feeling about zines as I have about the word awesome. Perhaps you should describe what they are then. What ones have you got? Do you remember
I picked up a couple at the Photographers Gallery in London. They had like a plunge basket that you just stuck your hand in, drew 3 out, and I think they were a couple of pound each. But they've been going for a very long time, haven't they? I think.
Well, yeah, and some of the guests we've talked to on the show are in there. Amelia Trowbridge has got her Urban Cowboys Dublin '96 story in there. Am I right in thinking they're kind of A5 sized books?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that. God, here we go again. That guy. I'm fairly sure that Jim Mottram's got some stuff in there as well.
Jim Mottram's got one, has he?
Fairly sure. Wow. Yeah, I'm just going to their website now. I'm going to search.
I mean, if you look at some of the names in there, there's some fine photographers in there. Chris Steele Perkins from Wolverhampton. There's a really good series which I love, which I know you'll love, from 1978. Daffyd Jones Butlins 79. That would be a great story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, I do love all that kind of stuff, and I've just gone to their website actually, and had times been different, I would definitely be doing a subscription to it, because you get one every week, I think.
Do you? Are they expensive, or what sort of price?
£6 an edition, or £320 for a yearly subscription. But that's 60 books. That's incredible.
Well, it was Leonard Neumann who introduced me to them, and he mentioned some photographers like Homer Sykes, who I know has got one in there. Ian McKell is in there. There's some superb names in there. You are right, though. That I think if times were slightly different, I'd be reaching for that 300 and what's it straight away for this. It looks fascinating, and you can get a box that you can put them all you can put them all in various boxes. It's the sort of thing that my dad used to collect, not for photography once. He was more into to wildlife and bird watching and stuff. But it reminds me very much of that.
I want to see how far it goes back. Yeah, look at those archive boxes.
I know.
I wonder who runs it.
I don't know, but anyway, CRB, caferoyalbooks.com/shop, and we'll put the link in there as well. Right, one last question. Andreas Bolton, you'll like this. He's going to play Desert Island Lens with you. Chaps, if you took one lens to a desert island, which would it be? Now, I'm assuming you can just, the body is there for whether it's a Pro or an XT. But I'm not sure.
I think it's a 23 again, isn't it? For me,
is it
23 1.4? Yeah.
Do you know, I might have been with you on that one if it weren't for the fact that I've been studying a lot of Russell Ald's work over the last couple of days, and the stuff he does with wide angles. I'm thinking, what a great focal length to really get together with the world.
That's true. Yeah, if you're on a desert island, perhaps you do want something that's going to give you a little bit more perspective. Yeah, maybe the 1024 even.
Difficult choice. Well, that's it for today. Keep your questions coming in to click at fujicast.co.uk, and of course you can find that easily, that contact address, if you go to the website, which is fujicast.co.uk, and contact us through with the contact form on that site. See you over the weekend. We got some weekend guests, of course, coming, so see you tomorrow, Kev.
Tomorrow we shall go again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.